Good afternoon, Joe. How are you today?
Doing great, man. Recovered from a very restful professional football binge. Food like crazy. A couple of drinks, a lot of napping. So,
Yeah, my football was over Thursday night, and I think it's pretty much over for the season. So
yeah.
we'll uh, we'll just
Oh, you're
hope.
the Jets fan. That's right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up with that quarterback, man? I just,
Well, they
uh,
they had the kid in, and he was doing great for a couple of weeks, and then he got hurt. So now we're back to.
who is their guy, their main guy?
No,
The one I saw, who, I'm sorry.
that was the main guy.
Oh,
He got
Zach Wilson?
benched. He got benched, and then the new kid came in. And anyway, I don't pay attention like I used to. I mean,
Yeah.
I used to live, breathe, and die football, but now
Yeah,
it's
same
kind of
here.
like, if I catch a little, it's great. And I
Yeah, I
usually
know the
catch it
feeling,
when
man.
they lose or blow it. So anyway, we got a guest with us, Joe.
All right. Shizzy in the house.
Shizzy's
What's up,
here.
guys? What's
Shizzy's
going
here.
on? Excited
He's
to be
got the
here.
he's got the Bitcoin hat on,
I
and
love it.
Shizzy's finishing up the Christmas with we were just talking about the young children, and you and I have the older children, so he's still getting to enjoy the Santa Claus thing. Hopefully they're not around listening. I'll be careful. Sean said Shizzy Day. It is Shizzy Day. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeehaw.
Um,
Sean.
I'm excited for Shizzy, Joe, because he is starting up a show, a podcast, and he's got a Substack going, dishing out some research and some knowledge and information. And so, first, Shizzy, everybody kind of knows you from commenting on the show, but why don't you tell us about yourself, kind of your background pre-crypto, and then tell us how you ended up in this world and why, and why you're still in it.
Oh, I'm still in it, right? Yeah. But yeah, so I graduated 2005, Philadelphia. So I didn't really know, I didn't know like what I wanted to be, anything like that. I just started working different jobs and stuff like that. 2009 came around, just started doing. I was just doing different job, machining jobs, stuff like that. And then I came across a job sweeping and mopping floors at a CNC machine shop. And CNC stands for computer numeral control. And my first day, they fired someone, and they were like, "Hey, man, you want to work on the machines?" I was like, "I took a job as a janitor, but sure." So I'm working on these like $500,000 machines day
Yeah.
one, and they're like, "Yeah, just go for it, dude." And I'm just like not trying to like break anything. So I've been I'm actually I started in 2009. I'm still a CNC machinist by day.
Nice.
So yeah, CNC computer
What
numeral
kind of
controls. I
things do you guys
basically
make?
so I started off doing medical stuff like bone screws and things like that for your hand.
Wow.
And yeah, it's all ISO certified stuff. But recently I'm at a machine shop that's doing like water jet parts. We basically, when a plane takes off, it leaves all that char on the ground. Well,
Yeah.
we make the machines that kind of like get all that char off, and it water blast shoots at the ground basically,
Oh,
and
nice.
everything's like precision made stuff. It sounds a lot harder than it really is. I really just push buttons on a machine. There's a there's a coding language called G code. It's basically just tells the machine what to do, and I basically just like write up the programs. It's not like JavaScript, anything like that. It's a completely different beast. It's just it's just basically code. It just that tells the machine to do different things. And
Mhm.
I
Did you
load up the code, put it in the machine, cuts blocks of metal.
did you have any experience writing code prior?
No, I kind of just like when you walk up the machine, it's just spitting out code. You just see it reading code, and you just stare at it long enough, you start figuring out what the hell some of the stuff means.
Nice. Have you attempted any other type of coding since?
I have. I recently I started HTML, C++, did a little bit of JavaScript. Still very very down there on totem pole. I haven't really done anything crazy yet. I started
All
looking
right.
into like Solidity and stuff like that, and it's just a lot to remember.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Well, Python might be a good thing for you, especially the
Yeah.
data side with everything you're doing with analysis and stuff. There's some really good
yeah,
Python data courses at Free Code Camp, that kind of thing. So you might want to check that out. That might be good for you. Plus, it might be pretty similar to the language that you're using on the machines in terms of kind of, step by step kind of stuff. That'd be interesting. Well, cool, very cool,
yeah,
man. So then,
Yeah.
yeah.
how did you find crypto?
All right, so 2018 came around, and I was like, I don't want to. be doing this anymore. I'm tired of selling my time for money. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I was just like, so I just started looking at things, and I came across the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. Actually, my wife brought to my attention, and I started reading that, and that was the first time in my life where I came across liabilities and assets and taxes, and really changed everything for me after reading that book. And not to give Robert Kiyosaki too much credit, because I think the guy's kind of an a-hole, but that book, man, it was so. And then I started investing, and so I was taking I call it Wawa money up here. I don't know if you guys have it. We have Wawa.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
I was spending $100 a Wawa a week. So I take my Wawa money and I started investing, and I started looking at like futuristic stuff. I started looking at like end phase, sun power, like solar panel stuff. Also started looking at like 3D medical type stuff, and like because I was already in like the medical field being in CNC. So I was like, what can take my job? And I started looking at like 3D printers and things like that. And I started investing in them, and it was fun. I was doing like insane research on them. I was trying to do the Warren Buffett approach. You know, you mean just look up everything. You start reading balance sheets and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was doing that stuff all the way up until about 2020, and then COVID came along, and COVID actually opened up a huge opportunity for me because everything closed down, and so I was working my CNC job, and nothing changed with that. Like everything was normal, no mask, none of the bullshit. So that was fine. But then I realized I can make extra money delivering food because everything was closed. So I jumped in the car and started doing DoorDash. Dude, I was killing it. During the April, May of 2020, it was just I was making like $300 on a Friday night, like for like 3-4 hours, like $50 tips. Like people were giving me percentage of tips that were just like you would give it like your waitress, like
because they were so grateful to have somebody bringing them something. That's friggin' awesome.
Exactly. So that was a huge opportunity. So now money's just coming in faster, and they're giving out stimulus checks, and so I'm just continuously investing in the things that I just talked about, 3D printers and stuff like that. And then I'll never forget it. August 8th, 2020, Anthony Pompliano goes on to Rich Dad Poor Dad podcast. And it's the first time I heard the word Bitcoin, right? So it all is kind of leading into each other now. And then I was like, well, what is this? And I'm already into the futuristic stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm already into printers and solar panels and stuff like that. And I'm like, what is this? Went down that rabbit hole. That was insane.
A deep one.
Digital Gold. This book I highly recommend. I love it.
Yeah, that's a good book.
Nathaniel Popper. Amazing book. Talk about Hal Finney and Silk Road and like all that stuff, and absolutely just fell in love. Absolutely fell in love. So I immediately started taking all my money out the 3D printer stocks, sending it to 3 days, go to my bank account on the Coinbase. That was the first place where
wow, you were all in, dude.
Dude, I was all in, man. I was just like all of it.
Wow.
Got my first Bitcoin, fucking happy. Sorry. I was super happy. And then so then I started looking into Ethereum, and it was right around DeFi summer. So it was like the end of it, Sushi Swap, the thing which happened with them, with the guy dumping all of his coins and stuff like that, and started looking into the DeFi summer. Ethereum was a little expensive for me at the time because the transaction fees, remember, between $80 and $150 for a transaction.
Oh yeah.
So I really started looking into like other blockchains. Came across Phantom. At this time, Phantom was like 3-4 cents, so that was fun. And like anything that happened on that chain, I was getting it like super quickly. I was checking. I learned about like DeFi Llama and stuff back then. So I was investing in all those tiny little guys. Had my Bitcoin, was taking profits in the Bitcoin. Like anytime something would pop up, which was stupid at the time because everything was popping up, and I should just waited. You know what I mean? But I was still piling everything in the Bitcoin, and it really went there. Learned. Fell in love with DeFi, fell in love with DeFi Llama, fell in love with all the research tools, and it was just, it was just fun. And then 2022 came around, and not so much fun.
What were you still just holding and playing, or
I have never taken profits in cash. I've always taken my profits in Bitcoin because I assumed that that inflation was good for Bitcoin. Like everything I was told by Anthony Pompliano was inflation was good for Bitcoin.
That's what they told us. Yeah,
that's what they told me. That's what that's why I'm just sitting on so much Bitcoin right now, and that's fun, right? So
Well, look, I think at the end of the day, that's a good place to be sitting.
Yeah, I'd
You
agree.
know,
agree.
where did I see? I saw a chart today. I don't know if I loaded it up or not. Somebody did a chart making, pointed to Peter Schiff showing $1 in Bitcoin versus $1 in gold for the last 13.2 years. And of course, Bitcoin's off the chart. And look, it's the best performing asset in the last decade or so of
12 years,
anything on the market. So I think you're in a good place.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love DeFi. I love researching projects, and that's my thing. So while I'm at work doing my CNC job, I have a lot of downtime because once the machines are going, like it's a little process to get them up and going. But once they're going, I'll have 2-3 hours just
Wow,
do nothing.
that's a great gig.
So yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's a little stressful at times, but once you get things up and running, machines just take control, and it's just like
Nice.
it's fun. That's where it gets fun. But I have a lot of downtime, so I immediately just start researching projects and doing the stuff that I love, and which is
Nice.
DeFi and crypto and all that stuff. And that's why I came across you guys. Started watching 12 o'clock, a live show going on. I was like, oh yeah,
Nice.
sign me up. So that's why I'm always watching you guys.
So you're watching us at work.
Well, yeah, kind of. Yeah.
out of the corner of your eye over there. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Nobody's listening.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. I can listen to the machine. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love this story. I love your story, Shizzy. I'm curious though, when you started listening to us, what was the thing that what did you find? What has interested you the most when you started watching us? Or what got you?
Just the fact that I could write something in and kind of be a part of the conversation really quickly. And
Cool.
that's one thing I loved about your guys' show. Like there's other shows that I watch, obviously, that are just too big for communicating back and forth with the people. And like that really got me. And you guys are really talking about the things that I'm already researching. Like, whether it be like when you guys are talking about Canto, I was just looking at EVMOS. You know what I mean? Which
Right.
is Canto is a fork of it. So
Right.
it's just like, what is this? So, and down the line, there was just so many. And like a lot of time after your show, I'm immediately on my computer researking the projects that you guys just talked about. And it just gives
the
me
key
more
is
ideas.
you're researching.
Yeah.
I'm not just buying it. No.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, I loved your papers too. I love, but you're right up on Hivemapper and you're right up on Canto. I was impressed. So, I mean, you're a good writer. So, I mean,
it's new for me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I like what you're doing. So congratulations.
So what made you decide you wanted to start publishing and doing a show and all of that? So
I take on so much knowledge. Like I'm constantly doing research. Like the kids will go to bed at 8. I'll be on my computer sometimes till like 1 o'clock in the morning. Just I'm just absolutely in love. Like I love going through the teams and seeing their backgrounds and like going on DeFi Llama and then seeing the top protocols on that chain, whether it be on like a layer 1 or a layer 0 or whatever, and just kind of really taking in depth. I kind of like I want to know everything about everything. I don't want to get to a point where it's just like someone's like, oh, you hear about this project? I just want to tell them, yeah, I know that's the developer from this one, and I want to be just there. I want to be in the room where it happens. Like
that's awesome. Niblet
cool.
says 2 guys in crypto without that bro accent, a rare find. I think he's talking about why he liked our show.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. What is the bro
That's his
accent?
polite way of saying 2 old guys.
Yeah. Gen X, though. Gen X. Remember, Gen X.
Speaking of Niblets, I asked him to be a part of my show with me, and he agreed. So I
that's
asked him,
awesome.
I was like, yeah. So I asked him, you want to come on and talk shit? And he's like, talking shit's my middle name. My parents are weird. And I was like, dude, you're in. Like,
he's awesome. That is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Have you put out any episodes yet, or you guys just getting started?
No, I have not. I'm kind of waiting to the end of the year with Christmas being just happened, and my birthday was Friday. I kind of
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Awesome.
35.
Nice.
Still young, buddy. Still young, man.
Yeah.
Very young.
Yeah.
You had the kids while you were still young. That's good. I had mine in my 40s, and it was exhausting.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I'm already exhausted.
Yeah.
What does your wife think about the whole crypto absorption?
She loved 2021 when I was telling her about all the money I was making. And she trusts me, and that's one thing that I really love about her. like I know that this is the next 20 years of my
Yeah.
life. Like I think CNC and stuff in the past, selling my time for money. I think that's my past and present, and my future. I think is crypto investing, and it's my passion. Like I love it. I've never, like I said before, when in high school, I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I didn't know anything, and then came in this world and really just took the bull by the horns, man.
Yeah, no,
Especially in
that's
That's
2020.
beautiful.
refreshing, man. I'm glad to hear that. The self-motivation is impressive to me. The desire to find answers is impressive. I mean, to me, it's, I moved around a lot when I was a kid, so I was always going into these new environments. My dad was in the military, and so I'm great at corporate dev and biz dev, but I'm just horrible at operating stuff and managing things. So I'm so used to moving on. But the one thing I really love is that data feed, that fire hose of data coming in on something new that you can start connecting dots on and figure out and try to figure the answer out before everybody else.
Yep.
That's what I really love. So
Yeah.
it sounds like you got a little bit of that in you too, or a big
Yeah.
chunk of that in you too. So
Well,
congratulations.
for me, I treat everything like a Ponzi. Everything's a Ponzi to me. It's all a bunch of Ponzi's, and just get in early, get out early, and maybe leave a little piece in, see what happens.
Just in
That's
case.
kind of my philosophy with this stuff.
Yeah.
No, it's smart.
What's going to be your approach to the show? I mean, the Substack I see is very research oriented. Is the
Yes.
show going to be that way as well, or are you going to kind of take it from the perspective of just talking about stuff?
So I would love to do something like you guys do. Just have like two guys, like maybe me, Niblets, or maybe another guy or girl, and just having different perspectives. Like that's my big thing. Like around where I live, nobody's in the crypto. People think I'm crazy. I'll talk about like any conversation I get into crypto. That's why Bitcoin's so important. You know what I mean? It's like we don't even talk about that. You know what I mean? Like so for me, I want to just get other people's opinions, and that's why I love YouTube, and that's why I love like watching you guys and other shows. Just like maybe I'm not always right. Maybe I'm just breathing into FOMO, and I kind of want to. Like the show's mainly just to help me improve as an investor and stuff like that. Like I don't want to be the teacher. I want to always be the student, and because I got a lot to learn. And actually asked Sean, he's gonna come on one of my episodes, and
Nice.
he's gonna teach me some things, so that should be fun. And I would love for you guys to come on. And like I said, I want to be the student, and I want to just it's one-on-one conversations, put them on YouTube, make them fun. And I think other people will find that interesting as well. And if anyone can get value out of me learning, like right there, then let's do it.
That's awesome, man. That's great. Sean said, "I think I love Shizzy. Wish I was this focused at his age." That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like I'm old, man. Like 35. I feel like I'm so late.
It's everybody always feels old, man, and then you just get older.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you're like, well, it's not as bad as I thought, kind of thing. But yeah, no, it's good. I love that what you'll find too is you're going to meet a whole bunch of new people along the way. I mean, I've probably met at least 25, 30 people just from doing the show with Brad that I would have never met anywhere else. And that's what I find. So you get all those varying perspectives. And, you learn about how people look at things. And, the one thing you're focusing on, which I'm really impressed by, is the developer teams. That's one thing that Brad is really helpful on for me, because it's kind of one of the areas I don't look at a lot because I rely on others to do it. So I'm glad you're doing it too, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. No,
that's a smart play.
That's
super
important.
Smart.
So tell us kind of what you're looking at right now. What projects do you like? What things are you invested in? What things maybe you don't like? Whatever.
I think a really underestimated project right now is Moonbeam, the token Glimmer, GLMR. I think with what is going on in Cosmos, I think everyone has to pay attention. And Moonbeam is going to be the layer 0 over on Polkadot that really takes a lot what's going on over there and brings it to Polkadot. I think the future is people going on their computer and not knowing what chain they're on. And I think that is the most important part about this entire thing. I think Moonbeam really is going to be helping the Atom, the Atom part of the layer 0 to go with the Polkadot layer 0. And I think it's very underrated project. It's one of my favorites right now. And that the whole Kusama with that being with that being interconnected, and that's one of my top projects, the Glimmer token. And Hivemapper, I think, is very important. That's my number 2. And I will not be buying that token at all. I'm going to be driving and earning that token.
Nice. Can
that should be
you
fun.
give everybody a description of kind of what you think, how you see Moonbeam and what it is, and then go into Hivemapper and kind of let everybody know what that is as well?
Yeah, so for me, Moonbeam is a layer 1 on top of Polkadot's layer 0. It is EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine. It should what it's going to do. It's basically going to taking the interoperability of the layer 0 Polkadot and really bringing everything over there. To me, that's the bridge. Like that's the Las Vegas to Polkadot's Los Angeles. Like that's going to be the bridge to get in and get out without even knowing what you even used. And I've been going down a rabbit hole with them. And if you listen to any project on Cosmos, Atom, they all talk about layer 0 and Moonbeam. And it's just like every single time it just registers like, wow, they're talking about Moonbeam again. They're talking about Moonbeam again. And that really got my attention. And I've really been diving into them a lot.
Do you think that community's growing pretty strong over there?
On the
Moonbeam.
So for me, Cosmos seems to be moving a lot faster than Polkadot. Okay. But I think that is kind of a good thing for because the way the parachains work and the way you can just like something like Canto could just jump on Cosmos is pretty awesome. So and I think it's going to take a little while for that to happen really with Polkadot, especially with how the parachains work and that's a huge rabbit hole.
It's more complex.
Well, very, very complex. But I do think any type of interoperability, especially to get on to Polkadot's layer 0 is really going to be pretty big.
Hey, Shizzy, quick question. 2 things. 1, Moonbeam was somehow related to Moon River, right?
Yes, they're brother and sister. They're the same company. Moon River is on the Cosmos. I'm sorry, on the Kusama blockchain, which is Polkadot's
testbed thing.
It's more of a project now. It's more of a canary in a coal mine than it really is a test net for them.
Okay.
So so I think they with like Moon River does is they do things before Moonbeam does it. That way, if anything does happen, it happened over there and not on the big chain.
One more question before Brad jumps in. One thing we're always talking about is Polkadot and Chainlink, and everybody's always like, "What do they do? What do they do?" And I've been in DOT and Kusama in the past. I'm not there now. I usually seem to bail around like $25 or something like that. Like with Chainlink, I gets to that big market cap, and I'm like, I don't even really know what these guys are doing. Time to bail. But maybe you could be our Polkadot analyst. And I'd really love to know what you like about what is the big. I'm not trying to put you on a spot, but what is the thing that you really like about Polkadot?
With Polkadot, it was really the founder being a part of the Ethereum team. That's what really drew Gavin Wood. He was the one he created Solidity. He created Ethereum basically. I read the book. It's a really good book. It's about the Ethereum virtual machine. I can't remember the name of the book now, but I'll remember it sometime. But basically in the book, it sounded to me like everyone was standing around. All the Ethereum founders were standing around watching Gavin Wood work. And just by reading that book, I was like, Gavin Wood. And then once I saw, I started researching Gavin Wood and found that he does Polkadot, I was like, okay, the guy who writ this stuff is now the founder of this one, and it's a layer 0. It's not a layer 1, but I got confused. I didn't know what a layer 0 was until I really started digging in, and it's building all these layer 1s on top of it. And then the layer 1s are building layer 2s and layer 3s. And this is just a big triangle, but it all leads back to Gavin Wood and the things that he's trying to do there. And that was really something big for me there. And Polkadot was one of probably the 3rd or 4th project I invested in the very beginning. I got tried to figure out where to buy it at, and the only place I could figure it out was Kraken. So I was buying it for $3-4 then, and I think probably gonna get back down to there. So
I think I was buying it on Binance back in the day, but that's interesting. So I think you kind of are saying a lot of stuff that I like to hear too, because it's almost like the layer 0s move into infrastructure, where we don't see it first. Then the layer 1s will follow, and then the layer 2s are probably going to sit more closer to the user than buried in infrastructure, right?
Yeah,
so what you think?
The layer 2s are really going to power the dApps. I think the dApps will be for basically just kind of like how Matic is for Ethereum. I think the layer 2s, and then on top of the layer 2s, you're just going to see thousands of dApps on each one, and it's all going to kind of come back in to Polkadot, and then which will allow you to use Moonbeam to go over to Cosmos and use those same projects or same dApps over there as well.
That's great. Thanks for that. I appreciate that.
That's
See,
awesome.
this is working out already. I'm learning more stuff. This is what I love about these shows. You know,
I want to be the student, man. So
yeah, no,
awesome.
but we're all the student and the teacher at the same time. You know, it's like, because nobody can know it all. And you know, like when you look at, say, big equity type analysts, they're just covering one sector, you know, one type of something, you know, hospitals, or, you know, tool and die manufacturers, you know, any that is cover one sector and become expert in it. But we have to cross like 500 sectors and try to find where the value connects amongst them. So it's always a learning exercise for all of us. So it's cool, man.
Niblets asked, when is Canto coming back? I guess he means Canto price. I don't know. It's sitting around 10 cents right now. I'm still staking there, Niblets, and I'm lending, doing the LPs and lending, and just stacking Canto. And for me, I'm not really worrying about it too much. I'm just kind of letting it ride and continue to compound it. So, and I got to tell you, they're doing a hackathon every month, and I'm more and more impressed with what's coming out of it every month. I keep thinking they're just going to be a bunch of copy pastas, and every month it's like original, innovative build out of things like infrastructure and launch pads, and just, you know, it's all original code, it's all original stuff, and it's all unique stuff. So I'm pretty impressed with it so far.
I'm not sure if you guys know, but Ian Bellina of Tokenmetrics is really, really big on Canto. He calls
I didn't know that.
He calls it his 100x
nice
coins for the next cycle. So when I saw that, I was like, oh wow. Like, and he's also been talking about Hivemapper and Moonbeam as well, because I was like, wow, like this guy's right up my alley. And I really didn't like Tokenmetrics and Ian Bellina up until that point. So
that's funny. Well, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, I was going to say, the thing about Canto that, you know, for Niblets is, you know, what I like about Canto is this is the, you know, place and forget kind of play, because you don't want to be trading this right now. You want to just, if you're going to do it, I think you want to hold it, because I think when the next cycle comes, because of the developer team that's there and their reputation in the space, you're going to see when anything starts moving up only, you're going to see, I believe, tons of capital flowing into that platform, because it fits the crypto ethos of, you know, as best it can at this point. The decentralization in particular. So to me, I think it's one that could be a, you know, marquee play. And it's only, what'd you say, 10 cents right now? I think I have some in there, you know, banked earning yield, nothing substantial, but it's one of the ones I look at, you know, for acquiring more. And just because of that, and, you know, maybe 100x off 10 cents. I mean, that's only $10.
Yeah, look, I'm earning like 240% right now on just stacking Canto, and that's all I care about. I'm the same way. I'm like, you know what? I'm not trading this. I'm LPing Node and Canto, staking it, and also have a bunch staked, and I just keep stacking it in. I'm not looking to cash out on this. I think this is a longer term play, and I didn't put a ton of money in it to start with. You know, the other thing is, Niblets, I know you've asked about this in the past. The project I was working on for Canto was integrating Canto and other tokens from the ecosystem into the cross-chain platform Change, CHINGE. That integration is now complete, and we're working on liquidity incentives to add liquidity to that addition on there. So Change essentially will allow you to swap seamlessly onto Canto. No interim bridge or anything else. You just swap straight into it. We just have to build up the liquidity on it. We're planning on working on that with the founder and head of biz dev in the new year. But that is actually, that integration is done, and they will have seamless swapping from 30 different chains into Canto when that launches with full liquidity. So.
And the one big thing about Canto is the 25% of the burn fees going to developers. I think that is really big over there, and that could really bring some dApps coming over. And eventually, I think when the Moonbeam bridge or the interoperability goes to Canto as well, getting coins, because I use the Gravity bridge just when I was messing with it, just kind of learn, and to get off of Canto, get it on their Gravity bridge. That was, I mean, It took me a few minutes to really get a hold of it. And I think once it's the on ramps and off ramps are built for Canto, I think Canto will really start taking off. I think it could minimum get to where EVMOS is right now, and I think they're like top 200, 300. So I think Canto get up there pretty easily, especially with developers coming over from different EVM chains.
Well, yeah, look, I mean, from a TVL perspective, it's already beat EVMOS, and then you know, that's the reason I pushed really hard with the founder of Change and Fusion to integrate Canto, because I wanted it make it easy for people to hop on. Like, it's just a swap, you know, and you can move from 30 different chains onto Canto. So from that perspective, that's one of the big problems I felt like they had to solve. The other cool thing is they have a full-blown API. So an SDK. So any of these projects that want to integrate the change swap functionality from chain to chain into their Canto projects, the code's already developed, the interface is already developed. It's just a matter of plugging it in and going for a web interface and the mobile interface. So anyway, that niblets was what I had been working on. The code's done, the system's up, and we just got to add liquidity. So we'll be doing that hopefully in the new year. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Los Ortiz, new to the space and looking forward to learning more with you guys. This is great. Thanks, man. Really glad you're here. Thanks for joining us. And please feel free to participate, ask questions, provide feedback. That's what we're building on this channel. So appreciate it. And Shizzy, I totally agree with you that that incentive for developers to get a cut of the gas fee revenue is huge. And I've talked to developers who are excited about moving on to Canto for that. I think that code is in the audit, the governance code is in the audit process now. And I don't know if it's launched or not. I don't think it has, but I think they're very close to launching that code. And I did an interview with Scott, one of the founders, and that's going to hit in the first week of the new year. So I found it really interesting. Yeah, I found it really interesting to understand kind of what drove him to create this and build this and have the philosophy they had. So anyway, it's great. All right, so tell us about Hivemapper for the folks that don't even know what the idea behind that project is, because I think this is really cool.
Yeah, so Hivemapper, I came across it back in like April or June, and I really went like in on it right away, because it was one of those things where it's like I remember when Helium was like big last cycle, and I was looking into getting a miner, but they were just too expensive. The back order was insane, and I was like, I kind of like ignored it, and then I obviously just watched the Helium token kind of tank, and so with the Hivemapper, it's kind of like the same thing, except so you buy a dash cam. Dash cams are $569 off the Hivemapper website. You buy the dash cam, you install it in your car, and now you're going to be just doing your normal day to day. You're like, if you want to, like, for me, I'm in Philadelphia, so like as soon as I get the thing, I'm going to start driving around and earning the bigger points from like the bigger streets like Broad Street and the stadiums. So what the dash cam does, it just takes like picture after picture after picture, just like as you're driving, and like for Google Maps, they have a car that drives around and gets the images maybe once a year. What Hivemapper is going to do, there's going to be thousands and thousands like throughout the year. Like every time a car drives
always
by,
up to date.
Always up to date. So you're going to get like, oh wow, there was an accident there that really messed up the street. I'm not going down there. You're going to see that on the Hivemapper dash cam.
Amazing.
And the big thing is another thing that drove me to this. So companies like Uber Eats and DoorDash and all them, they use Google Maps, and they pay. I think Uber paid $300,000 a month to use Google Maps for their app. So imagine that money, just 1% of that money going to something like Hivemapper, which I think is at like a $7 million market cap right now, and that could be something that like trucking companies and maybe even like something like Tesla's like something like that. You could put it in a Tesla, and you can earn the honey token for just driving your normal drive. So
yeah, that's absolutely amazing.
So this thing is so early.
Quick question, Shizzy. When you're driving around, say mapping that content, or populating the maps for Hivemapper, and I know it's decentralized, but does the person who sources the content first, let's say, like you drive down by, Barnes Museum and, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, maybe up the stairs by where Rocky ran. I was watching Rocky over the weekend, where Rocky ran up. And does the user who gets that stuff in the platform first have any like residual coming from that in tokens, or is it just from the original map?
So I think so. What you send it yourself. So after you're collecting the data stays with you, and then you send it to Hivemapper through the application. So you'll send the data to them, and they will immediately, and this is what I hear, block out all faces, license plates, and all that before it gets to any type of end user after that. So so it's basically and then they judge on how many tokens you get by like, so if it's light outside, the images are better, you're going to get more tokens for that. If it was the first time that road was mapped, you'll get more tokens for that. If it was raining, you might get less tokens for that. But I'm not sure if I answered your question though.
No, you did. So it sounds to me that you get basically paid to, populate the maps for them with the street level content, basically. And then once it's in the platform. And as long as you keep, but I think like what's cool is, you were talking about DoorDash earlier. I mean, it's like all the Uber drivers, all the DoorDash drivers, all the Lyft drivers, and the other 20 rideshare app drivers can all now, I mean, I presume strap this into the car at the same time they're doing the other gig. And, double
the money.
Yeah. I like that.
That was a big thing for me as well. Being I haven't done DoorDash in over. It stopped being profitable about like last year, but when I was doing it, when I first found out about Hivemapper, I was like, this is for people who still do it. This is another way to make a leg up. So
make it profitable. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Exactly.
So they are essentially just trying to build an entirely crowdsourced mapping system, and they want it to be more up to date in real time from photos that people are taking as they're driving. So you'll be able to see what's going on pretty close to, the last time somebody drove through there. So it could have been 10 minutes or an hour or whatever. And then the idea is to really build a mapping system that's superior to that. And then is that then that becomes data that's available as an API for people to build their own mapping applications on. So you could be using it in real estate, you could be using it for driving, you could be using it for investing, whatever. Is that kind of the idea behind this, that they're going to make money from people utilizing the data, plus they're going to have their own mapping apps? What's the plan on that?
Yeah, so from my understanding is they're going to be the maps is just the beginning. Eventually, you're going to be able to see like new developments happening, and basically an up to date. You can kind of go on their website and kind of see that area progressed or how much it progressed over time. And so I think that the driving aspect is just the beginning for what they could potentially be selling in data wise to the clients.
That's awesome
for them to make money there, and the driver gets money from the honey token as well. So it's basically a system that just keeps feeding itself.
That's great. That's awesome. I think that's a cool project, and I think the data is going to be incredibly valuable. Ace said, "Damn, I'm late getting here. I ordered 2 of these months ago. Still haven't received it yet. Do you have one?
I ordered
already,
in June,
Shizzy?
so no, not yet.
Oh man, so they are running behind,
waiting.
huh?
Well, yeah, they so I follow them on Twitter a lot, and they're having a hard time with the so they're making the dash cams and they're testing them first, and which is I'm very happy about. Like I'm okay with waiting as long as it works properly, and so they're testing them out and they're having issues. But to me, it sounds like a lot of the issues are fixed, and so I think they promised me by January 23rd. I've actually in their messages on Twitter kind of pushes forward a little bit. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be making content for you guys. I need the mapper to do so. And so they said by January 23rd for the people who ordered in June. So if you ordered after that, I expect you to get it like early next year. So
Ace said, I researched the F out of this project back in the summer since I drive a lot with my job already in metro areas. Figure it's worth a shot. Yeah, that totally makes sense. And look, you can see truck drivers, delivery drivers, all kinds of folks who could be making money with this thing, especially if they own their own vehicle. Does the dash cam work like a regular dash cam too? So you can use it for yourself?
Yep. So if you get an accident, you could be able, you can take that because you own the images. Like you send them before
you're basically selling them to Hivemapper.
For honey. Yep.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. He said they were distributing first in certain areas and DC Metro was one of first. So hopefully it comes by end of January. He's hoping to get his Ace.
Yeah, I think he should receive it by the end of the first quarter at the latest. I think.
You know,
Like,
isn't this company headquartered in Southeast Asia somewhere, Shizzy?
They're actually out of San Francisco.
Oh, even
cool.
see, I was thinking it'd be a great opportunity for Americans to, you know, because I know I saw they have a lot of presence in the Philippines, I think, right, and like Vietnam and places like that. But that must be coming from San Francisco. Okay.
Yeah, it's all. I think the headquarters is San Francisco, but I think they do have other places around the world, and I think the Philippines is a very unmapped area that they're trying to push forward to.
Yeah. Ace said, plus you got a 500 token airdrop with the order if you did it before January. If you did it before January 1st. So if you do it before January 1st this year, you get an airdrop of the token. Oh, nice.
As soon as you hook up the dash cam to the app, they should send the wallet that you hook up the wallet with the app. I use the Phantom wallet for that, and your Phantom wallet should get the 500 airdrop, which I'm not really sure the price of right now, but you can actually buy the token already on Radium. It's on the Solana blockchain.
Okay.
So I've been looking at it. Cool. I'm not going to buy any. I'm just going to mine the tokens for free.
Yeah, just earn it. I love that. I'm trying to find pricing on it, but I'm not seeing anything right now.
Yeah, it's in Radium right now.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, that's a cool project. I love projects like this that are bringing us into the real world. I'm excited that that stuff like this is happening because I think these crossovers, things that people can see and understand and be a part of, are really important ways for us to succeed in spreading the word. So we can't all hope that people are listening to Anthony Pompliano on Kawasaki
Rich Dad Poor Dad
podcast, right? To get exposure. So that's awesome.
Now being in crypto this long, I kind of look back on that and be like, what the hell are you thinking? Like this
It's crazy, man. That's crazy. But Niblet said tuk mapper. Oh yeah. So tuk-tuks, the vehicles in Asia, especially in the Philippines, that they'll all be driving. And talk about real time. That's some crazy driving. That's some scary ass driving.
30 cents a ride though. So you take your chances.
Frick, man. I mean, you get in one of those, you just close your eyes and to hope you get where you're going alive.
I was rolling around in Thailand in them all the time, and you don't really think about it, and then you read the guidebook, and it's like, no matter what, don't do the tuk-tuks. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're only going 30 miles an hour. Like tuck and roll, baby, tuck and roll.
In the Philippines, there's no observation of lanes, lights, stop signs, right of way, nothing. It's just this insanity. What's insane is that it actually works most of the time. Like if we tried to do that in the US, people would be there would be death and carnage everywhere. But these people are so used to navigating this way that it's crazy. So
have you ever driven in South America or Central America?
I have not.
Yeah, that's a treat. And just like Italy's the same way, or France, when you hit those circles. I mean, I learned like around the Arc de Triomphe, that big circle at the top of the Champs-Élysées. I was there with my first wife, and you drive up to the circle, and there's like 500 cars going around. And you're like, oh my God, you're trying to figure out how to get in, and then what you realize is you just got to barrel in, and they get out of the way, just like you're a fish going into a school of fish, and then all scooters.
We drove scooters around that circle, man. That was nuts.
It's a fun circle, man.
It was fun. Ace said, I work in wireless telecom. I already have a few of my own 5G nodes set up with Pollen Mobile. I'm going to be mining DY and Hivemapper while I'm working. Love it, man. That's awesome. It could get to the point where people doing these delivery jobs, the extra money is coming from the delivery job. The real money is coming from the tools that you're connecting into DeFi. I love that. That's awesome.
So what is DY? Anybody heard of DY? DEWI, the other one he mentioned in a comment.
I was actually looking into Pollen, and the costs of those rigs are pretty expensive. They're a couple of $1,000s, and the reason why I haven't really jumped into it yet. But I'm what is actually Pollen? Very I'm not 100% sure as of right now. I gotta do more research on it, but it's looking like it's kind of another type of helium type of company.
All right. Oh, okay. Yeah, it says it's a mobile network.
This kind of data also. Go ahead. Sorry.
Introducing Pollen, a new mobile network that allows anyone to create private, affordable connectivity where they need it. Oh, so you can create your own cellular / Wi-Fi network where you live. That's awesome.
Okay.
That's very cool.
Yeah, no, what I like too is this is all building data for any, we want to talk about multiverse, metaverse type platforms. Now you got somebody else building content for those in a decentralized way that you could just probably, cut and paste into some kind of like, metaverse experience versus having, like you said, get it from Google or somebody else or repopulate it with, all your users trying to create data for it. This could be a jumpstart for all of those plays.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like
that's awesome. Anything else you're looking at right now, Shizzy? Are you doing research on some stuff? What's next for you?
I have a couple other ones. For me, I think Arbitrum is top notch project there. But when they drop the RB token, I that's one I see. Obviously, they're going to airdrop the token, so you're going to see a lot of dumpage. But I think a lot of people are going to be holding this thing, and I've been really in their ecosystem trying to get. Like basically get ahead of when everything happens. Because once the RB token goes live, I think a lot of these projects, whether it be Umami, GMX, Dopex, I think what Dopex is a centralized option play, which I think is going to be something that's a lot of degens will be getting into, and I think I think Arbitrum will really take on a lot of that stuff. And with GMX obviously being a perpetual exchange, which is really awesome to have something not CeFi that we can make trades on and put put money on in your wallet, holding your own coins through that that site. So I think Arbitrum is something really is going to be really special, and I'll probably slowly be buying the RB token if I don't get an airdrop. So I think Arbitrum is really something to pay attention to, and I think that's coming pretty close from what I see.
Shizzy, were you the one talking about Umami a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah. I came across that a few weeks ago. We were talking on Twitter about it. Yes.
Yeah. No, I was in Arby's finance a year plus ago, and ended up, there just wasn't a lot going on over there at the beginning. Everybody was just doing stuff to get ready for the airdrop.
That never happened.
Yeah, but they have legs. That platform has legs, and it has great protocols and dApps on it. A lot of people like it. So I think you're right. I mean, I remember you hooked up on that Aptos airdrop, right? You got something on that, right?
I was involved in Aptos in early June. Basically, same thing I'm doing with Sui right now. I'm just messing with it. It's fun when there's no money on the line. I buy NFTs with airdrop testnet tokens, and I sell them. And it's just fun, and you can't really make a mistake because everything's brand new. And then at the end of it, I end up getting a couple of $1,000s in airdrop tokens. So that was pretty cool.
Right? Yeah, but you're helping build the community too. You're creating user activity. You're testing stuff. I mean, it's all the things that they're meant for. So
and that's what I like. A few bugs. In the very beginning that I went back to the Discord and put in there, and it was pretty cool. I think I discovered something pretty early on one of the wallets I was using. So
cool.
That's awesome. I got to tell you, Sync, who hooked me up with Hats Finance, just sent me the other day a link to Cawley Network, which is a hybrid proof of work sharding chain that's launching, and actually looks incredibly powerful. And the performance looks incredibly powerful. So it's QUAI. I'm going to try to get some folks on. They're coming on for an interview. So I'll try to get a more deep dive into it. But the tech looks really powerful. So I'm going to take a
exactly why I watched the show, because like while I'm working, you would have said that I got two hours of planning to do now.
Nice.
QUAI token is. So that's the ideas, man.
QUAI.network, and the documentation is really well written. I'm actually pretty impressed with the docs versus kind of the explanation on the website. The documentation really does a great job of explaining the tech and what they're doing with it. Joe, something I was thinking about that we have been completely negligent on, and we have background in it? DeFi.
Genomics?
DeFi, just in general. I mean, it's just stupid that we're not doing more research on DeFi. So decentralized science. Joe and I have a background having worked and helped a project in the genomics field, but that also got us into looking at a lot of other decentralized science plays. I've looked in the past at some of the medications and devices that are being built in a decentralized manner. I think that market's going to blow the hell up, man. I really do. I think we need to take a deeper dive there.
Well, look, it's a data-driven market, and it is also the foundational pillar of personalized medicine, because you have to know the DNA sequences and the markers and all of that to basically, what's going to turn into is that you'll get tests along, your annual physical, let's say, or you'll get whole genome sequenced once, and then you'll get like maybe I don't know, you probably still do whole genome, but you'll keep getting sequences run every year as part of your, your doctor experience. And they'll identify markers, and they'll be like, oh shit, people with these 3 markers, sometimes they tend to get diabetes or something like that. So you need to keep an eye on that and, adjust your behavior so you don't trip the gene to the next level. Because usually there's like a lag of years before that first trip happens in your genetic code, and then it manifests into some kind of disease. You have time to adjust your behavior and fix it. So, that is the basis of personalized medicine. So, we're all going to be like getting custom treatments, custom medicines and formulations for, whatever we're trying to treat. I mean, for example, with breast cancer, I was looking at some stuff from NIH. This is like 20 years ago, but a buddy of mine, we'd invested in one of his companies. He was doing what we call proteomics back then. And so for every breast cancer tumor, you could sequence it and it would create like a dot pattern. And you would know, what markers were on and off. So you could design a treatment that would kill that tumor. Well, there was like 800 different dot patterns for different types of tumors that were all called breast cancer. And so the key is you got to have a library, you got to have rapid sequencing, and then you design compounds that will attack that specific type of tumor. Because, it's changed a lot in the last 20 years, but typically, you would go in for, say, breast cancer or prostate or whatever, and they would just look at it as like everyone is identical. Every disease is identical. And, maybe the people that responded to the treatment might only be like 15 or 20%. But if you know that one marker is there that you can take out with some other, compound, pharmaceutical compound or behavior, you're going to have much better, I think it's called efficacy, a much better return on that treatment because it's more specialized. And that's where it's all going, but it's all data. It's just instead of 1s and 0s, you've got 4 letters to manage. So it's 4 data points.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential. Frankly, I think that all 3 of us, our children, will be able to live to be easily make it to 150 years old.
That's good because I'm going for 120, so I expect my daughter to beat that.
Well, I mean, between spare parts and this kind of research that's happening, it's pretty amazing. I follow David Sinclair on Twitter, and I've read a few of his books. He also has a bunch of startups that he's funded and built and he's building that are all about longevity. And the advances are just amazing. There's a diabetes medication that's already showing dramatic impacts on longevity and lengthening life that people have been taking for years. And there's some really interesting theories about the deterioration of organs in the body, how it all relates to specific things related to stress. Anyway, very cool stuff. Anyway, the decentralized science, I think there's gigantic potential here from a funding perspective, from a research perspective, from a distribution perspective, and I just think we need to take a deeper dive on it. So Niblet said this conversation should include the insurance implications of genomics. I don't know if you mean the insurance cost implications, which of course that's a big issue. If the health insurance companies find out that you have specific markers for specific diseases, they may or may not insure you, or they may charge you more, or they may be more likely to pay for preventative measures that they might not pay for somebody else that doesn't have that marker. Not sure if that's what you're going for, Niblets.
Yeah, he's probably somewhere in there. The thing is that's why you have to maintain privacy so well. And that's one of the things, the company that Brad was referencing before was called EncryptGen. It's still around, but they sold to Indigenous, which is in Indianapolis. And their whole thing was about that privacy because, everybody goes to 23andMe and doesn't opt out. And then they share that data. And it's very easy to match it up with your credit card, let's say, or whatever you use to acquire it. And then basically the insurance companies have that monopoly. So it has to be a combination of GDPR type stuff, California Privacy Act type stuff, and then it has to be classified as healthcare data. And then it has to be somehow privatized or vaulted so the insurance companies can't see it all, just see the parts they need to see. But yeah, that's a huge issue, Niblets. And that's kind of the big driving issue, insurance discrimination in that genomic space, whether it was Shivome was another one I was close to. Obviously, Nebula Genomics, which is George Church's play, and Dennis Gershon out of Harvard. And then Luna, which is the Illumina play on the West Coast that was run by Dawn. I can't remember her last name, but they couldn't get anywhere because they were terrified of the privacy implications. So I mean, Shavome's gone after a big ICO. Nebula kind of moved from the space. And I think Luna's just on the back burner. There's a couple of new ones. Like, who was the ones we talked? Genomes DAO, right? Brad, is that the guys that you brought on?
Genomes DAO.
Yeah, that's a new one that's in Cambridge that I think has legs. But there's a lot of issues here.
Here's the cool thing, right? We now have encryption built into chains and layer 2s.
Yeah.
So we can encrypt and check the data. And we now have third level storage capabilities that can be encrypted and stored decentralized, but make sure retention and data security is top notch. So I think that the tech has now advanced in blockchain to make all these things a reality. My point really is that you and I just need to dive deeper into decentralized science, because I think there's just a ton of shit going on out there. So
yeah. Quick question: how does blockchain and science go together? I know you really don't want like too much like important data. Like I don't want my records on
PII.
Yeah.
So
the
like,
encrypted the encrypted capabilities that come with some of the ZK stuff, and then some of the chains that are encrypted based. Even what's the big accounting firm, Joe? The guy director of blockchain for them that I interviewed. EY. EY has built a encryption layer onto Polygon's sidechain so that enterprises, healthcare companies, et cetera, can encrypt data but still have it stored on the blockchain. So there are a bunch of mechanisms now to solve it, but that's exactly the point, Shizzy. When we were working for these other firms, the blockchains hadn't advanced, so you had this transparent data problem. You had to store it on AWS. You had to store it somewhere else, and you were back to the same problem, right? You were back to the same problem that we have today, which is protecting your data. Now, the variance for that was that you owned your data and you controlled the release of it, but you could have been, that server could have been hacked or whatever where it was being stored. Now we have the ability to store it on chain. The other parts of decentralized science, and Niplitz is right, he said lots of sticky non-tech issues to work through. Absolutely. Like human interaction issues, permissions, all of that has to still be worked on. The other thing I see promise in decentralized finance is the funding of it, right? Like right now, there are tons of research projects for medications, for scientific exploration, for nuclear energy, for other forms of energy, for all kinds of things that we need tech to be advanced for. And if a given company or a venture capitalist doesn't choose to fund that because they don't think it's going to be a 10x score for them or 100x score for them down the line in 20 years, then it doesn't get funded. But we, in a crowdfunding model, could actually be funding projects that we think might have societal value and big profit value, but that a VC might avoid. So I think that opens the door to a lot of potential research that could be done. So anyway, Shizzy, what everything's launching after the new year. Where should people go? Where should people go to start getting connected to you, subscribe, all of that good stuff?
Yeah. So my Twitter is Shizzy at Shizzy87. My Substack is shizzy.substack.com, and the channel will be called DeFi Discussions, kind of a rip off you guys a little bit, but
that's all good. That's no rip off.
No
rip off. That's all good.
But I kind of wanted to just basically it's just talk. You know what I mean? It's just going to be discussions with really smart people in the space, whether it be Sean or Joe or you or maybe some projects down the line once I can get some things going. And so yeah, just discussions and probably some shit talk with me and Niblitz, which I'm very excited about because
nice.
Yeah, I love his comments always, and I would love to get other people on. Like every week, it would be cool to have like 4 people and do like around the blockchain type discussions, and just maybe like Sunday night, just bullshitting before the week starts, and just kind of go from there. Give me some thought process to kind of go for during my my 40-hour work week. So that's
nice. Sounds like the media DAO needs to happen, Joe.
Yeah. Yes. So
I am 100% down.
So are you doing? Is it going to be live like once a week, or are you okay?
All my shows are gonna be live. I want the comments to come in. I want to kind of do what you guys
nice.
Do. Really are my inspiration for wanting to do this. So
cool, man.
Awesome. I'm so excited for you to be doing this. I appreciate what you're already providing to us. I appreciate what you're going to provide to the ecosystem. I am really fired up, and I'm fired up that Niblets is going to be helping out with that, because I
am too.
I
And
love,
when he said yes, I was very excited. I was like, hell yeah, let's go.
that's awesome. He's the king. He's the king smartass of DeFi. I got to tell you, he's intellectually smart. He's intellectually smartass. So that's even better. So
I want to get him in front of a camera, man. I'm excited.
Shizzy shilling. He said, I think that's an older Snoop Dogg joint. Well, Shizzy, I appreciate you, man. I'd love to get you on here regularly, because listen, let's do this. Every time you put out a Substack post or an episode and you're talking about a new project, let's get you on to talk over here about it too. And tell us what you learned and all that good stuff, and we'll cross-pollinate. And if we can ever help out, don't hesitate to reach out.
Sounds great.
Awesome, man. Listen, Niblets, Ace, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate you being here. So I'm assuming you're following Shizzy. Los Ortiz, thank you for joining us, man. We always love having new folks. And Sean, thank you so much, man. Excited to see what you guys do together as well. So love to see kind of the community and ecosystem reaching out and growing, and new people doing new things. So that's fantastic, man. Joe, Shizzy, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank
Joe,
you guys.
hope you have a
Appreciate
great
both of
afternoon.
yous.
I think it's Boxing Day in Europe. Is that right? I don't know the holiday expressly, but I think it is Boxing Day. So
I think UK. I think it's UK.
UK. I don't know who does it and who doesn't. So happy Boxing Day to all of our UK folks, Sean included there. And I hope everyone has a lovely evening. Joe, I think we'll be back tomorrow. Are we back tomorrow?
Yeah, why not? Shizzy, congratulations, buddy. I'm glad. I love this initiative. Thanks for sharing it with us first, and I love for us to come on and help you out whenever you need it. Okay, and vice versa. So the more the merrier.
Lots of questions for you guys, so I can't wait to
hear
stories as well.
Awesome.
It'll be cool.
All right,
if
if you like what we're doing here, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, click the thumbs up, and click the little bell so you get alerted when new episodes come out. Thanks for joining us today. If you're listening on the podcast, please hit those podcast reviews. Thanks, Sean. Sean says, great show. Always a great show, of course. Thanks, man. Niblets says boxing in Canada also. Happy Boxing Day, Niblets.
You guys popped my cherry for this one. It's my first ever YouTube channel and anything. So this is
nice, man. That's awesome.
Oh, congratulations, man.
Oh, that's fantastic. Nah, dude, you did a fantastic job. You're going to be great at this. You're going to be great at this. All right, buddy. Take care. Joe, take care. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow, man. Take care.
All right.